withdrawal from planned nationwide protests by interest groups on the rise as Minister of Women Affairs pleads for understanding. Senate proposes 500 billion naira capital for Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation. And National Information Technology Development Agency targets employment generation through collaboration with the European Union. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. Nigerian women have expressed concern over the August 1st proposed protests with fear of losing their children and husbands. This was at a rally organized by the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohanenye. Ngozi Technikio reports.
There is no doubt that women and children are usually the worst hit during any crisis. In order to avoid the possible calamity that may result from the proposed protest, that the Minister of Women Affairs and other stakeholders are appealing for calm and patience to allow for the transformation policies of the Tinubu government to take full shape.
When the anarchy comes, it is these youth, our people, these women that are dancing for it will affect. Most of us, we know the route to run away. Most of us will have visa on our passport.
There's no any other better country than our own country. And we must ensure we protect our own country. There's no better home than Nigeria.
Please, Nigerians, I'm begging, for the sake of women, their mothers, their sisters, and their daughters, I beg you, please, calm down and give a little time. We're going to give testimony within a year. That is the problem.
With shouts of applause and dancing, the women showed that the message was clear as the NANS president promised to relay the pleas of mothers across various campuses in Nigeria.
President Bola Tinubu standing by me shows that he's standing by women. And the women are the mothers of the nation. That's why we decided to gather, to plead with our children. We don't want to lose any of them. Let them stay home and give a chance.
So if today our women, our mothers are telling us there should be united Nigeria, no destruction, no faceless demonstration, no protest, I think we will obey the voice of our mother.
These appeals from mothers of the nation are expected to douse the tension to prevent the proposed protest and its associated consequences. Ngozi Technikio, NTA News.
In the meantime, the national leadership of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, is urging the 774 local government areas in Nigeria to shun the proposed protest. ALGON National President Aminu Meifata emphasized that the third tier of government is a major beneficiary of ongoing socio-economic reforms of the present administration. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The recent Supreme Court verdict granting autonomy to local government, among other palliative measures being put in place by government, are enough testaments to show that President Bola Tinubu is committed to moving Nigeria out of the woods. The ALGON national president enjoins the youth to avoid acts capable of returning the country to the old dark days and rescind their decision on the proposed protest.
Let's support this government. Let us shun violence. Let us not participate in any kind of protest.
The leadership of the United Nigeria Youth Congress is similarly urging the youth to maintain calm and await President Tinubu's efforts towards addressing some of the challenges bedeviling the nation.
Our aim is to create awareness and foster a dialogue that transcends political affiliation and personal biases, ensuring that we all strive for a better future for our nation.
Members of the Arewa Youth for Peace Initiative note that President Bola Tinubu is doing well and should not be distracted by those bent on taking Nigeria backwards. The youth must desist from being used as agents of destabilization, the group emphasized.
We will not sit here to watch some off movement that believe they are working in the interest of Nigeria to come and bond our infrastructure and slow our movement. Please, fellow Nigerians, the purported protest is not in the best interest of Nigeria.
The developmental strides being achieved in FCT must be allowed to grow as the youth group distances itself from the proposed protest. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And calls continue to grow for the planned August protest to be shelved. This time at a men's grooming event, pastors of the Redeemed Christian Church of God appealed for organizers of the protest to have a rethink in the interest of the nation.
I just want to beg them, they shouldn't go on that thing. You know why? They are taking a cue from Kenya. That country is almost gone if they are not careful. You only know the beginning of trouble. You don't know how it's going to end.
We are not encouraging anybody to go in for strike or for protest. Go on your knee, gather your family together and protest to God, and the best shall happen unto us.
Others say the event is targeted at men as a way of repositioning homes and stabilizing the society.
The essence of empowerment is that men will be able to have what it takes to take care of their family. And with that, the family will be well off.
The theme of the program is the repositioned man. And the initiator of the proposed nationwide protest and leader coalition of Northern Nigeria Youth Elders Forum, Murtala Mohammed Garba, in an interview with newsmen in Abuja, has pulled out from the protest. Garba says they initiated the protest because of insecurity and the high cost of living, but later realized there is an unforeseen motive behind it, hence the need for them to withdraw.
The protest, but later on we discover that there is something behind the scene. So we call on all our people, our young people, should withdraw from this coming protest. And by the grace of God, the entire Northern Nigerian youth, both at home and diaspora and other part of the country, we have all agree that we are not going to participate in this protest. We are calling on you. We know you will listen to us. You are part of us. You fight for democracy.
He says they are not in support of any protest, calling on all Nigerians to dissociate themselves from it, as the government is taking measures to address the current challenges facing the country. Well, the Nigeria Police Force says it has credible intelligence on foreign machinery's involvement in the planned protest. Francis Fom reports that the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, at a briefing in Abuja, appeals to Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group.
We issue a stern warning to clandestine groups plotting to destabilize the country and hoodlums seeking to exploit protests for their criminal agendas. We will not tolerate the killing of innocent citizens, destruction of public infrastructure and private property, or looting of private businesses. We acknowledge the constitutional right of Nigerian citizens to peaceful assembly and protest. However, in the interest of public safety and order, we urge all groups planning to protest to provide necessary details to the Commissioner of Police in the state where protest is intended to take place.
He called on members of the public who may want to protest to provide proposed protest routes and assembly points expected duration of the protest, names and contact details of protest leaders and organizers, and measures to prevent hijacking by criminal elements. Meanwhile, the IGP commends patriots who have withdrawn from the protest due to the sinister motives and ignorance of those calling for violence. In other news, the federal government's gas expansion program is leveraging Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, to deepen gas utilization in the 774 local governments in the country. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Ambassador Nicholas Agbo-Ella emphasized the centrality of ALGON to gas expansion in the country at an interface with ALGON representatives in Abuja. Lydia Sampson reports.
The designation of natural gas as a transition fuel in Nigeria requires collaboration across the country. For Ambassador Nicholas Agbo-Ella and Mohammed Ibrahim, Chairman, National Gas Expansion Program, partnering ALGON is not just a win-win, but also crucial to getting the people's buy-in to embrace gas.
If we work together, we will encourage private investment, we will encourage job creation in the short and in the long run. We will increase domestic consumption of gas, and the country will be the best for it.
You discover that gas can be used as a feedstock to produce what we call a textile. Gas can also be used to produce things like fertilizer.
Chief of Staff to ALGON National President Shehu Marshall says the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria is resolved to key into federal government's gas expansion program and will ensure they escalate the message of the significance of gas as cheaper and cleaner alternative to fossil fuel.
ALGON is fully and well equipped, ready to partner on this progressive project, and will provide the necessary platform that is needed to take this project to the grassroots.
They are unanimous that gas expansion across the country will also create employment across the value chains with ripple effects on wealth creation, impacting livelihoods. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on NTA News24. More reports after this break. Stay with us.
Nigeria, a land of rich culture and diverse voices, where every voice matters. In times of disagreement, let's choose dialogue over discord. Together, we can find solutions through understanding and respect. Let's build a stronger Nigeria, one conversation at a time. Dialogue, not protest. Unity, not division. Nigeria, united in dialogue.
You're welcome back. The Senate has been thrown into mourning following the demise of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, who until his death represented Anambra South Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. In a statement, Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Yemi Adaramodu, says the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, expressed deep shock at the passing of Senator Ubah, describing him as a dedicated and passionate legislator whose contributions have left an indelible mark on the nation, as commitment to serve his constituents was exemplary. The Senate extends sympathies to Senator Ubah's family, his constituents, as well as the government and people of Anambra State. And President Bola Tinubu has extended his condolences to the family of the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. The President commiserates with the friends and colleagues of the late Senator, the National Assembly, and the government and people of Anambra State over this sad loss. The President prays for the repose of the soul of the deceased, as well as for strength and comfort to his family. The Senate is amending the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporations Act with provision to raise the capital base from 50 to 500 billion naira. At a public hearing on the bill by the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, stakeholders say the increase will boost consumer confidence in the banking sector by improving security of investments.
We will not relent in giving Nigerians impactful legislations that will improve the banking, insurance and financial sector of our economy.
We are here to listen and work together towards legislative outcomes that will foster economic growth and financial stability and consumer protection.
The NDIC considers this public hearing as a golden opportunity for the corporation to voice its strong support for this bill that seeks to, among others, strengthen the regulatory framework, enhance the independence and autonomy of the corporation in line with international best practice.
The hearing also elicited positive responses from participants on the plan to make more stringent punishments on individuals and corporate organizations for issuing dud checks in transactions. Meanwhile, reforms to Nigeria's insurance industry to enhance federal government's efforts of stabilizing the economy are on course through a legislative framework as the growth rate in the industry continues an upward trajectory. The Nigerian Insurance Reform Bill seeks to strengthen the sector, and stakeholders believe the move would foster a robust, secure and modern financial landscape.
For $1 trillion economy, we cannot sit down and be watching other small African countries contributing more to their GDP as far as the insurance industry is concerned.
For the Nigerian insurance company to remain significant or to retain significant shares of the oil and gas insurance portfolio, they must have and maintain a reasonable level of capital, since the assets are typically denominated in USD and insured in USD.
In the meantime, members of the House of Representatives Committee on FCT have canvassed improved revenue generation by the Federal Capital Territory Administration to boost infrastructural developments in the nation's capital. At an engagement with FCTA officials at the National Assembly, the lawmakers said the tempo of infrastructural developments in the territory can be sustained with improved revenue drive by the Abuja Investment Company Limited. Now, the European Union, in collaboration with GIZ and the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has developed a participatory policy implementation framework for Nigeria. At the presentation of the framework in Abuja, Director General of NITDA, Kashifu Abdullahi, says it is to help subnationals apply the country's digital policies to create more employment opportunities and grow the economy. Joseph Otsen reports on the two-day policy dialogue held to sensitize stakeholders on the framework.
One thing to draft a policy, but it is another to contextualize it to serve the needed beneficiaries.
We have been able to fund over 40 startups and over 40 researchers. To that tune alone, we have spent over $700,000 US.
Thank you, sir. Here, Nigeria's digital participatory policy implementation framework is presented to policy actors in ministries, departments, and agencies at the federal and state levels, as well as the private sector, for acquaintance.
We are implementing that framework together with the ecosystem with an ambitious target of achieving 95% digital literacy level by 2030.
There is an enrichment of local relevance by integrating indigenous knowledge and local perspectives, ensuring policies are contextually relevant to the people they serve.
That when stakeholders are actively involved in the implementation of policies, those policies become sustainable and relevant across diverse contexts.
Nigeria has in recent times come up with policies like the Nigeria Startup Act And now this framework towards creating employment opportunities and boosting its economy through the digital space.
The biggest platforms in Nigeria at this point in time are not owned by Nigerians. It would be great for us to be able to build more domestic platforms that are owned by Nigerians, that are monetizing in Nigeria, that help us to grow our ecosystem.
World Bank Development Report 2021 shows more than 50% of Nigeria's over 200 million population do not have digital skills. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Here's a look at our top stories. Withdrawal from planned nationwide protests by interest groups on the rise as Minister of Women Affairs pleads for understanding. Senate proposes 500 billion naira capital for Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation. And National Information Technology Development Agency targets employment generation through collaboration with European Union. Let's now get the latest in the world of sports.
Nigerian champions Rangers will play their CAF Champions League home games at the Goodluck Pabio International Stadium, Uyo. Rangers settled for the stadium popularly known as the Nest of Champions after failing to get CAF's approval to use their home ground. The Flying Antelopes' home ground, Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium, Enugu, is not suitable to host international matches, according to CAF. Fidelity Electrico's side will face Union Sportive Zilmaju of Comoros in the first preliminary round of the competition. The encounter will hold in August 2024. In Paris, Nigeria's male table tennis stars Kwadri Aruna and Omotayo Olajide will be in action on Saturday in the men's singles round of 64 games at South Paris Arena. Olajide will be the first among the 4 Nigerian table tennis players in Paris to get involved by taking on Iran's Noshad Alamiyan at 7 p.m. Nigerian time, while Haruna will take to the table 2 hours and 15 minutes later against Romania's Eduard Ionescu. The 29-year-old Olajide is making his second appearance at the Games. Haruna, however, will be making his 4th appearance at the Games with the hope of going past the quarterfinals, which he achieved in Rio in 2016.
Over the years, Nigeria and China have engaged in different fora, and at all times, the two countries work out modalities to further consolidate the gains of their partnerships. Following a recent visit by China's Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Chen Xiaodong, to Nigeria, Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tugar emphasized more on Nigeria's relationship with China. Garba Nata'ala reports.
The sitting in this hall says it all, an engaging session where both parties, bilaterally, are consolidating some of the gains achieved over the years. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tugar and his Chinese counterpart, Xin Xiaodiong, who spoke through an interpreter, agreed to take the bilateral cooperation of the two countries to greater heights by promoting free trade, removing trade barriers, and protecting each other's interests. Another mechanism of strengthening ties stated here is the official forum between the People's Republic of China and all states in Africa, also known as FOCAC, which is anticipated to further engage in political dialogue and economic cooperation at ministerial level established since 2000. An invitation was also extended to President Tinubu to visit China. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Cubans have celebrated the 71st anniversary of their National Rebellion Day across the world. And Cubans in Nigeria also converged on the Cuban embassy to mark the significant day in their history. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports that the theme of the day was celebrate the heroes of Monchada, the second largest military camp in Cuba.
Our ideas on social justice, equality, and fraternity.
The Cuban ambassador to Nigeria, represented by her secretary, says they are paying tribute to those who fought and gave their life for the freedom of their country. Entry Rodriguez, one of the members of the Martial Arts Academy. Cubans are always peacemakers.
We are people that like to make friends. In this very moment, our country is passing through difficulties because of the blockade. We are trying to tell today to the world that please support our people. So our people wanted to grow as everyone in the world. Everybody needs to be happy.
Of course, we know the role Fidel Castro played in revolutionizing the Cuban people. And today we are celebrating that struggle for freedom. And along this line, of course, like we know, it's now for us to call Nigerians' attention, especially the youth.
I lived in Cuba for 7 years. I studied in Cuba, courtesy of a federal government scholarship. So I've been a graduate for 5 years now. So I lived in Cuba. So I'm here because I feel part of the Cuban people.
It is Cuban slaves of African descent. Anytime they remember Africa and Mount Kilimanjaro, they sang this song of courage. Maraswayo Chodara.
A song was also played to specifically celebrate Fidel Castro and his men who were at the forefront of the rebellion fighters. In Abuja, Suleiman Abdul Wahab, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.